I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my YouTube channel and the website Global Math Institute. Let us see how do we determine periodic function described from the given data. We'll consider sine and cosine functions. So in this table, we are actually given information about three different functions. Let me write them as function 1, 2, and 3. For each, we are given amplitude, period, vertical shift, and phase shift. Once we know these things, we can always write an equation in the form f of x equals to a sine k x minus d plus c. Well, sine or cosine as required in the equation. Perfect. So let us see how do we do it. Let's begin with the very first one, where we want to write down the sine function. And we are given a couple of things here. One is amplitude A, which is given to us as 2. Period P is given to us as 360 degrees. Now, when the period is given to us, we can find the value of K so that it can be substituted in the model A sine K x minus d plus c. Well, K is kind of frequency, number of waves in 360, okay? And the formula for K is 360 divided by P, and in this case, since P is also 360, K is 1. So we have the value of K. We can take the value of C and D from the equation. We know C is 0, right? None. And D is given to us as 60 degrees right. So these are the values. Substituting these values into the function itself, we get f of x as equal to A, the amplitude, sine, we want to write the sine function. K is also 1 for us, so x we can write straight, right? X, and D is 60 degrees, minus 60, right? In degrees, plus C, which is none in this case, and therefore that becomes the model for the given equation. Well, we have the equation. Just as an addition, what we can also do is sketch this particular graph of the function and visualize it, right? So let us say this is the axis. Then in general, this sine function could be sketched kind of like this, right? Where the point to begin with is 60, right? So that is where it begins. Maximum, it goes to plus 2, minimum to minus 2, right? So that is how it is. The period is 360, and therefore it will end at 360 plus 60, right? Which is 420, correct? So that is how the sine wave can also be sketched. Perfect. So I hope you have understood, right? Let's take up the next example, which is, in this case, we have to write the cosine function. So writing cosine function means we'll write this as f of x as equal to a times cos of k x minus d plus c, correct? So we are already given the value of c, which is 2 up, right? And the value of d is 0, right? So let's write down the given values, starting with amplitude A. So we know amplitude is equal to 5, right? Period is given to us as 180 degrees. So now when period is given to us as 180 degrees, we can find the value of K as 360 over 180, and that is 2, correct? So the value of K is 2 for us straight away. C is 2 up, means plus 2, and D is none, that means D is 0. So therefore, now we get the function which can now be written as f of x as equal to the value of A being 5, right? Cos of K is given to us as 2, x minus D, D is 0, right? Plus C, which is 2. Makes sense? So that is how you can write the model for the given data. Well, can you sketch this? Well, there is no phase shift, and it goes 5 maximum, that means 5 minimum, and from 2, right? So if I sketch this graph, it will look something like this. Let me sketch it here. So we are given that the phase shift is 2, right? So basically, this is your phase shift of 2, and from there it goes 5 maximum, means 5 up from 2, right? So from 2 it will go to 7. And 5 down will make it minus 3. You get the idea, right? So those will be the maximum minimum limits for this cosine function. And the cosine starts with maximum, right? So the wave will be kind of like this. You see that I've drawn one particular wave whose period is given to us as 180. So means that this point will end here at 180, right? So this is 90 for us, correct? And I've already given you maximum, minimum, and the axis. Make sense? So that is how you will sketch it. Perfect. Let's take up the last example in which we are sketching again, writing a model for sine function. Data given to us, amplitude equals to 3, period equals to 720. So as period is given to 720, k can be found as 360 over 720, which is half, right? And the value of c is down 1 means minus 1, and d is left 180 means minus 180 degrees, correct? So that gives you the function f of x as equal to the amplitude a of 3, and then sine k values given to us as half. We just calculated, correct? X, d is minus 180, so it becomes plus 180 degrees, and the phase shift is minus, and this vertical shift is minus 1. So that becomes the equation. Perfect. So I hope you understand how do we write the equation from the given data. Now we can also sketch the function. When we are saying it moves 180 degrees to the left, it means the sine wave really starts from here, right? 180 to the left. And the period is 720, right? So quarter of the cycle, right? So this is half and this is half. So the sine wave, actually speaking, moves from here, and the axis being at minus 1, right? So let me draw the axis at minus 1. Clear? Maximum value being 3. So from minus 1, 3 will means plus 2, and then minus 4, right? So this will be minus 4 for us. And the sine wave will go up from here to the maximum, right? And then go through this and minimum, and then go up like here, and this whole period will be from minus 180 to add 720 to it, right? So 720 minus 180, you get the idea, right? So when you do this, you get 540 degrees, correct? So it'll go from 720 to 540 degrees as shown here. So that sine wave has been shifted 180 left, as you can see, translated 1 down, and it has an amplitude of 3. That means the maximum is at 2, minimum is at minus 4. I hope that makes sense. Perfect. So with that, we have actually got the equation for all the three, sine, cosine, and the sine function for the given data. And I hope you have also understood how do we write the equation and also sketch the graph of these functions. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and in case you want to learn from me, you can always send an email on the address given. Thanks for your time and all the best.